So let me just tell you, first of all, a little bit about the team that you see in front of us. This is a team that has come together after we were asked as a church if we wanted to become part of something known as the Generosity Factor, and a movement that started through North Point Church down in Atlanta. As we are, about a year ago, I took a group of people to a church in Edina, Minnesota, and there Scott Rideout was the presenter of the generosity and everything that was happening. After that meeting, a number of us came back and thought, what are some things we can come back to Oak Haven Church and talk about and celebrate? And we came back and we did continue to just imagine here at the church, which was to continue to encourage people to give, but we wanted people to think of generosity as being more than just giving of their money. And about 2 months later, I received another phone call, and that phone call came and asked if I would put together a team from our church that would take a 3-month course where we would interact with reading material and meet with Scott Rideout, who is a pastor of Sun Valley down in Arizona. And we would come together and just immerse ourselves in the whole concept of generosity. So that's how this all started to come into being. And as I prayed about who to have on this team, I remember going through the directory. And as I went through the directory, I thought, God, who would you want to be part of this generosity team? And so I made a list of people, and I had some fear and trepidation because I didn't know what you would all be thinking as I began that. But I began to go down the list, and I made phone calls, and I asked if you would consider doing this. And I was very intentional trying to tell you what this was about and that it wasn't necessarily about giving. And so generosity, as we are looking at it and what we're doing, what we're really trying to think about is generosity isn't just about money. It's about giving of our time, our talents, our treasures to touch other people's lives. And so during this 3-month course of study and reading, we've spent the time looking at what generosity is really all about. So I'm just going to ask the team here, when you hear the word generosity, what comes to your mind now? What came to your mind when you first received the phone call from me?
Well, for me, the first thing that really hit home for me for the meaning of generosity was from a book called The Generosity Factor, and it talks about the acronym HEART, and it really is a heart thing. And so HEART, the acronym stands for He owns it all, God owns it all. Every day is an opportunity to be generous. And then finally, action is required. And remember your blessings and thank Him.
Okay. Anybody else?
Well, when you first called me, generosity meant I would have to go and collect money from people. That's what I thought you wanted me to do. I wasn't real thrilled about the idea. But getting more into it, generosity to me meant, I learned that it meant maturity, where you give and serve instead of asking. It's of you.
Okay.
We've all heard forever that as a parent or a friend, the best thing we can give and be generous with is our time.
Okay. And so that's kind of when we talk about generosity, when I tried to explain that and what it was, is trying to get us to think more and more about it, not just being about money, but how can we use our time and our gifts.